Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is the first time that you are joining me. I said in my last video, which I filmed earlier today, that I was going to start doing monthly reflection videos where I recap all the things that happened to me in the month that has just ended. Because I used to make those videos, I took them all down from my channel because they just didn't feel very relevant anymore, because the last one was from last year or the year before. But I do miss making them, and I enjoy them, and I enjoy watching other people's versions of this video. So I thought I would start afresh in January 2023, or with January 2023, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to kind of play around with this and see how we feel about the different areas and how much I do or don't talk about them. Feel free to leave me your own reflections on my reflections video in the comments below. I'm not saying I'm going to take every opinion on board, but I'll certainly be interested in hearing them out and maybe making this more interesting for people to watch. Anyway, we'll move on to the actual video itself. So I've got categories, and I'm going to try and stick to the same categories every month, but they may change, blah. Right, enough waffling. So first of all, I wanted to talk about my card of the month. So I know a lot of us do this, where we do a, at the end of the previous year, we do a year ahead with tarot, and we draw a card for each month and then a theme for the year. I know I'm not alone in doing this, because I have got this from, I'm sure I've got this from other people on YouTube when I started doing it. And my card for January was the Seven of Wands, which was, it was all about challenge and grounding and protecting yourself and allowing yourself to feel vulnerable. And as part of my bullet journal, I did, which you may have seen if you've seen the video, I did some questions for the month based on the card and some affirmations for the month. And then when I look back and reflected over the month, it was interesting to see how these related to the month that I just had. And I really did find that, so one of the things that came up, one of the questions from the Lightseers website, from the PDF booklet that she has online, is what relationships do you have with the opinion of others? And then one of the affirmations was, I trust my ability to discern which battles are worth fighting for. And they were things, particularly in my work life, that were very prominent throughout January. It was very much about how I am learning to do my job and be comfortable in the job that I do and the decisions that I have to make, and how knowing when to pick my battles and when to let it go and those kind of things. And also this year was the year that I decided I didn't care anymore if people at work liked me, as long as I was doing, as long as I knew I was doing the right thing and making the right decisions. And that was very much a theme for January for me. So it was interesting to look back and see how that Seven of Wands energy really played out in January for me, particularly in work. In my kind of day-to-day reading, my daily readings, I am a stat geek. So I'm going to share some stats with you that you might not care about, but I'm going to share them anyway. So this month, 12 of the daily draws were swords, 10 were pentacles, and 9 were cups. So 39% of the cards that I saw this month were swords. I drew no wands and no majors at all in January, which is really interesting. It's just really interesting. And I'm so far, we're finishing up the first week of February, and I've drawn one major and still no wands so far. So this year so far, I haven't seen a single wand card at least come up in my daily draws, which is fascinating. It's the little kind of things that are fascinating. But my card for February is again a wand. So anyway, and I also found that the Knight of Swords appeared for me 4 times in January. So that was 13% of all the cards that I drew throughout the year for my daily draws was the Knight of Swords. Very interesting stuff. In terms of the tarot that I was actually using, I was using the Kawaii Tarot, which was a gift from Sarah at Sunset Bout Tarot for Christmas. And it is a really freaking adorable deck. Like, it's so cute. It was on my wish list, so she did buy me a deck that she knew I wanted because she'd seen it on my wish list. And it is absolutely my thing. It's just cute, and technically it's an animal deck because they are all llamas and otters and owls and rabbits, and you know, it's all animals, cats and stuff. So once again, Miss I don't like animal decks is kind of in love with an animal deck. And it's just a really lovely, soft, easy, for me, I found it a very easy to use deck. I like the colour palette, I like the style of art. I love the like weird unicorn seahorse things. I really enjoyed working with this one. It's not for everybody, I get it. It's kind of sweet and, you know, cute, and it's kawaii, right? It's cute. That's what it means. Adorable, cute little things that just make me smile. And I had I've had some pretty rough days in January. Health stuff that I really need to speak to a doctor about, and I'm reticent to do so because it's like monthly cycle related, and doctors are a bit shit about those kind of things because it's not a problem. If it's not a problem for them, it's not really a problem, right? But this deck has really helped me stay a bit more chilled out and happy than I think I would have done otherwise. So anyway, that was the tarot related stuff for January. So my aim for the year is to read 24 books. So I was aiming to read 2 books in January, and I actually finished 7. However, there is no however, I finished 7, but I'm going to share some of the books with you that I read. So the very first book that I finished actually was not the first book that I started. So the very first book that I finished was Elevation by Stephen King. This is a really short book. A large proportion of the end of this book is actually the beginning of another book. You know how they do that when they're like, buy this book. And it happens to be a book I've already read, so no, I'm not going to. But it's actually only 132 pages. It's a really weird little story about a guy who is rapidly losing weight. He doesn't look like he's losing weight, but every day he's losing weight, and he's getting eventually he's just like and it just keeps going to the point where eventually he's going to weigh nothing, and he decides to join this 12k run, annual Thanksgiving 12k run, in order to help out his lesbian neighbours, married couple who have opened a restaurant, and the town's a bit conservative and backward and they're not doing very well. It was okay. It was all right. It was too short to really care about anybody. And even though a lot of the like political stuff, political views that he has, I also hold, it was a bit heavy-handed and a bit on the nose sometimes, I think, but it was all right. I enjoyed it. Probably will never read it again, but it was an interesting read. And then I finished Children of Time, which is the book that I had at the library that I was reading in December, the one that I nearly DNF'd. If you watched my book video that I did at the end of last year. That is a sci-fi about the last remnants of humanity are on this spaceship, and Earth has been destroyed, and they're looking for a new planet. And they find this planet that has been like terraformed by humans, the ancient humans, and they want to land on it, but there's reasons why they can't. And there's also intelligent alien spiders on this planet. It's like first contact with aliens. I really struggled to start with, but once I got into it, I really enjoyed it, and I read the second half of it fairly quickly, and would highly recommend it. If you're into sci-fi, you're into First Contact with Aliens, and you want to see how well intelligent spiders can be written, I would definitely check it out. I also read a book called Are You Awake by Claire McGowan, which is a mystery thriller, and I can't really remember what it was about. That's how good it was. I can't really remember what it was about. I think it was about these two people who live in London, across this park. They live on opposite sides of this park, and neither of them can sleep for different reasons. And one night they think they see something strange in another house, the window of another house that faces out onto this park, and then they start to do all their own detective-y type stuff. It was a generic mystery thriller. It was okay, but I can't remember a huge amount about it. So, and then I went through, I decided this was going to be the year that I was going to read more graphic novels, because I've never really done that before. More graphic novels and more like manga type stuff. Last year, somebody got me Pumpkinheads for Christmas, and I enjoyed that. Or did they get me it for my birthday? I think actually they got me it for my birthday. Can't remember. I read it in December anyway, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought, you know what, I want to try more, because weirdly, despite being the biggest nerd, I've never really done graphic novels. So I started with Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, and this is about a villain and his sidekick. Nimona is the sidekick. It's good. I really enjoyed it. This is like a teen, so it's like YA. It's probably sci-fi. There's dragons, there's science, it's like sci-fi fantasy. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. Noelle Stevens has co-written Lumberjanes, and that is definitely now on my list to try as well, because I really enjoyed this. I'm going to keep hold of this, and I will probably reread it at some point. I then tried the first two books in the Demon Slayer series. This is Japanese manga. This is not written in Japanese, because my Japanese right now is not that good. And this is about a boy who is a charcoal seller, and he goes off to sell some charcoal. And when he comes back, his entire family have been wiped out by demons. His sister is transforming into a demon, and he wants to try and save her. So he goes off and he becomes a demon slayer, so that he can try and track down the demon who is responsible for turning her, so that he can basically save her. There are 23 books in this series. I read the first two in January. I have the second two to read. So I have 3 and 4 to read in February. And I think I'm going to aim for like 2 a month, because then I'll be done by the end of the year. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I also found the anime on Netflix, but I haven't started watching that yet. I'm sure I read somewhere that the first season was the first 5 books, so I want to do the books before I watch at least the first 5 books before I watch season 1. I may even do the whole lot before I watch any, I don't know. Finally, I read one more graphic novel. This is a 10-volume graphic novel, and again, I'm going to try and do one a month, and that is Saga, and this is by, I don't know why I'm telling you this, I didn't tell you who any of the other books were by, did I? Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Oh wait, I think I did. The only one I didn't was this one, and this is, Demon Slayer is by Koyoharo Gotayugi. Koyoharo Gotayugi. Try that again. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have bothered. This one is really, really fun. It's this is definitely adult. This is about a war, like an intergalactic war between these two species that's been going on for a very long time. And these two people are soldiers on different sides of the war who meet, and they fall in love before the first book. And the book starts with her giving birth to their child, and they're on the run and people are chasing them, and people are particularly interested in this child. I say I've only done the first one. It is fantastic. I have the second one here to go. It's only 10 volumes, and I may even end up reading more than one volume a month because delayed gratification is not my thing, and they're just so good. So good. What else? So films. I watched 4 films in January. Again, I have a target for films, so I have a target to watch. I don't know, should I tell you? Should I look it up? Because I can't remember off the top of my head. I have a target to watch 24 new movies this year, and at least 8 of them should be either Japanese or Korean. I watched 4 in January, and 1 of them was Japanese. I watched a film called One Piece Stampede, which is, I believe One Piece is a graphic novel series and also an anime that I knew nothing about. Did not realise that the film was very much for people who knew the series and loved the series. It was a gift to the fans. So I can't really tell you what it was about because I'm not really sure. I think I enjoyed it. Like, I watched it all the way through to the end and it was fun, but yeah, I didn't really know who anybody was or what was going on. And it was very much like you didn't get any kind of backstories for people or anything. It was very much done in a way that made it very clear that it was for people who already knew what the fuck was going on. And that was not me. But it was fine. And then I watched Project Power, The Pale Blue Eye, and See How They Run. All of which I think I watched on Netflix. Although I may have watched one on Disney+. Yeah, I think I watched See How They Run on Disney+. My favourite, I don't really love any of the movies that I watched this month, but See How They Run was probably my favourite. It was based on the Agatha Christie play The Mousetrap, which I've never seen. I have friends who have, and I would like to go and see it. I think it's still running in London. And I'm reading Agatha Christie at the moment. I'm trying to finish the Miss Marple series, and then I want to do the Poirot series. So I really like Agatha Christie's style of murder mysteries. I enjoy that very much. And so I found the film enjoyable. It wasn't the best film I've ever seen, but I'm glad I watched it. I would watch it again. I think I would probably watch it again. So yeah. And series-wise, mainly I just caught up on TV series that I'd already been watching. So I watched a season of Modern Family, a season of Ghost Whisperer, second season of Dairy Girls. The one season that I did, new series that I started, was Little Witch Academia on Netflix. And I'm watching that in Japanese with subtitles. Again, my Japanese is not that good. I'm very much a beginner. But I'm watching it to hear Japanese, so that's why I'm watching it in Japanese. But also it's just turned out to be a lot of fun. It's about a young girl who is obsessed with this witch called Shiny Chariot, who put on this show when she was a magic show when she was a child, and she wants to be just like her. And so she goes and joins the witch academy at the witch school. She's not very good. Her magic is not very good. She doesn't know how to fly a broom. She makes friends with a couple of others there who are also a bit like kooky and odd. One of them is obsessed with mushrooms. And then they just have like little adventures every episode. The episodes are only 25 minutes, and they just have little adventures, and they're really good fun. And I finished the first season, and I need to get through the second season, but it's really enjoyable. I mean, it's definitely for people a lot younger than I am, but I don't care because it's fun and I'm enjoying it. YouTube moments. I don't know if I'm going to keep this, because some months I have something to say and some months I'm like, I don't really know. I didn't really have any good YouTube moments because I'm not very good at YouTube right now. But personal YouTube moments, I guess I would say, we did 2 in January, 3 girls, 1 deck, 2 lives. So we did 3 girls, 1 deck, and then 3 girls, 1 controversial topic. And they were both very interesting, very good to film. The one controversial topic, honestly, was amazing because there were so many good people in the comments sharing their thoughts, which was just, we talked about AI, art, something I admit to being very ignorant about and not knowing a huge amount about and not having any strong defined opinions on, because my knowledge is just not good enough to have made any strong opinions about it yet. But it was very open and it gave everybody an opportunity to air what they wanted to say, and it was just, yeah, it's such a special, I said this in my previous video too, but that little community is just, it's not really a little community, but there are people who turn up for every live and they join in the discussions every time, and they're just such a wonderful open group of people. It's so nice to be in a space where people can share, even with the 3 girls 1 deck, you know, we're talking about decks that we like that other people might not, or that we like, they're talking about decks that we don't like, and we're just very open about sharing our opinions and having very different opinions in a way that's just respectful and open and kind, and it's so much fun. So I am never going to stop raving about them because I enjoy them very, very much. I enjoy being part of them a lot. And also I did my first ever review on my YouTube channel, which isn't really a special YouTube moment, but I thought it deserved a mention because I've never, like, in 4 years, I started my YouTube channel in August 2018. And in 4 years, there was a very long period of time where I didn't make any videos at all. So, you know, okay. But in 4 years, I've never reviewed a tarot deck. I'm a tarot channel that's never reviewed a tarot deck. I'm not sure I will ever review another one because I didn't really know what I was doing. but yeah, so that was a moment. I do feel free to check it out if you want to find it. It's the, what deck did I review? Oak, Ash and Thorn. Yes, which is a wonderful deck. So I really enjoyed working with it, and that's why I reviewed it, because I thought it was a lot of fun. And also it's a full-on animal deck that has quickly become one of my favorites. Not just my favorite animal decks, but my favorite decks, which was a bit of a shock for everyone, me included. And then that's pretty much it. The only other thing I have done this month is worked and language learning. And studying. That is pretty much my life. I work, I study, I learn languages, I try and catch up on YouTube. That's me. That is me. That's all I do. So yeah, I'm not sure how interesting this was. Maybe let me know, do I need to do more tarot stuff, less book movie stuff, or do I need to do more like talking about the books that I read? Do you want to know more? Do you want like mini reviews for some of the books? Do you want mini reviews for some of the films? What do you want? What would you like me to be doing in these videos? Again, I can't guarantee that I will do it, but I'm certainly open to suggestions, as long as they're done politely. Don't be a dick, basically. Okay, anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. Lots of love, and I will see you all shortly for another one. Take care. Bye-bye.